14th.
Yeah,
Thank
all
you,
right.
Princess.
Going
Today's the
fast.
14th. So, Proverbs chapter 14. Let's see what we can get in Proverbs chapter 14. Okay? And this is what it says. It's only 33 verses. So, does anybody want to read uh Proverbs 14:33? So we could do 11, 11, and 11. I'll start while you think about who's going to read the next, okay?
I'm next.
Chapter
I'm
14.
next, Pastor.
Okay, Princess, thank you. 14 verse 1. The wise woman. Woo, it's talking about women.
Mhm.
The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down. Wow. He whose walk is upright fears the Lord, but he whose ways are devious despises him. A fool's talk brings a rod to his back, but the lips of the wise protect them. So, chapter 14 in the book of Proverbs, for those who are asking, I'm now in verse 4. Where there is no oxen, the manger is empty, but from the strength of an ox comes an abundant harvest. A truthful witness does not deceive, but a false witness pours out lies. 6. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. Verse 7. Stay away from a foolish man, for you will not find knowledge on his lips. Verse 8. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. Fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can share its joy. Verse 11. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. Okay,
Verse
next.
12. There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death. Even in laughter, the heart may ache, and rejoicing may end in grief. The faithless will be fully repaid for their ways, and the good rewarded for theirs. The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. The wise fear the Lord and shun evil, but a fool is hot-headed and yet feels secure. A quick-tempered person does foolish things, and the one who devises evil schemes is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Evildoers will bow down in the presence of the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. It is a sin to despise one's neighbor, but blessed is the one who is kind to the needy. Do not those who plot evil go astray, but those who plan what is good find love and faithfulness.
All right. Any volunteers? If not, I'll go ahead.
I'll read, Pastor.
All right, Daphne, verse 23.
In all labor there is profit, but idle chatter leads only to poverty. 24. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. 25. A true witness delivers souls, but a deceitful witness speaks lies. 26. In the fear of the Lord, there's strong confidence, and his children will have a place of refuge. 27. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life. To turn one away from the snares of, let me read that again. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life. To turn one away from the snares of death. 28. In a multitude of people is a king's honor, but in the lack of people is the downfall of a prince. 29. He who is slow to wrath has great understanding, but he who is impulsive exalts folly. 30. A sound heart is life to the body, but envy is rottenness to the bones. 31. He who oppresses the poor reproaches his maker, but he who honors him has mercy on the needy. 32. The wicked is banished in his wickedness, but the righteous has a refuge in his death. I don't get it. 33.
That is a tough one.
Yeah. Wisdom rests in the hearts of him who has understanding, but what is in the heart of fools is made known.
Where you guys go?
34.
Oh, there's more. Sorry. Go ahead.
34. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. 35. The king's favor is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is against him who causes shame. Amen.
There you go, guys. So, yeah, this is a very rich just by reading through it again.
Mhm.
There's so many references to the fear of the Lord.
Mhm.
And the cause and effect. If you fear the Lord, this is it. This is, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, which verses jumped out at you, and we can go through it.
20.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
Okay,
you're good.
verse 20. Now, whenever I come across the word rich and poor, I start with the material rich, material poor, but then I start to meditate and go beyond just material rich and poor. Because a person can be rich with intelligence and poor in intelligence, rich in skill, poor in skill. So you can go beyond just the material part. Okay. So here, verse 20, the poor are shunned even by their neighbors. Okay. So if you are poor, again, remember, this is Proverbs, generalization of the way life is. And so you need to understand life. The idea that if you are poor, it's like no one wants anything to do with you.
Deliberately avoiding.
Yeah, shunned. Maybe they're sick and tired of you asking for money all the time.
Mm.
Oh,
Or,
here he is again. He's gonna keep asking for money again.
or
Eventually they,
favors.
they give you something in the beginning, and then you're back and asking more and more. Eventually they're tired because it's like, why don't you get your act together, right?
Mm.
So that's what happens with poor people if they don't do anything about their situation. uh Even their neighbors, the people who know him, uh they eventually start trying to avoid them. Just maybe you could look at it like a fact of life. Would you guys agree that you know if a person behaves a certain way that results in them being poor, nobody wants to be around them?
Yes.
uh Sometimes I come across homeless people. My question is like, where's your family? And it's almost like it's mutual. They don't want to be with their family. I guess their family's tired of them as well. You know, if you had a poor family member, uh, come on home, we'll help you out. But sometimes you're so stubborn, you don't want to receive any help. You don't want to receive any instruction. I'd rather be living I'd rather be living in the streets. That could be why, and so there is that distance, shunning, you know. Princess, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, Pastor Bert. It's like one of our members in the Bible study, the other one. There's this batchmate of ours kept on asking money for his children. He's not working, his wife is not working, and he has two children going for college. And it's pharmacy, it's expensive, and I forgot the other one. So we usually give money, but it's so like what you said. It's tiring. I have my own expenses. We have our own expenses, and he expects us who are here in U.S. to give him money. He even jot down all the things that he needed. He said, "It's only 40,000 needed, so my son will graduate or whatever." OJT. Yeah, it's sometimes you don't want to avoid him, you want to help, but if help had been given to him and we even told him to start a little business in their house, so they can get something, but no, they just kept on asking money from all the batchmates.
Yeah. See, so it's life, right?
Yeah,
Um, and then it says the opposite. The next sentence, the next part of the sentence is,
the
but the
rich have many.
rich have many friends.
Yeah,
Again, the generalization. Uh, be aware that if you're rich, if you have lots of money,
got a lot of friends,
all of a sudden there's people who want to be friends with you.
even far distant relatives.
They want to be friends with you. See, so again, the wisdom of understanding life, understanding how people can be, and understanding the circumstances that you might find yourself, or observing how circumstances can be with, people. Like if you got a lot of money, let's say you hit the lotto, are you all gonna be friends with me because I hit the lotto?
Mhm. I will. I will, Pastor Bert.
What's up, Kwame?
I will. Let me borrow him.
People who hardly know you, all of a sudden, like, oh man, we're friends, right? Let's all hang out. Let's all, party here and party there, right?
Your
So just
treat.
generalization. Um, if you ever win the lotto, if you ever come across a lot of money, be aware that people are going to be wanting to be friends with you. That's why there's a verse in Proverbs. There are some people who are rich, but they don't act rich and they don't look rich. And yet there's people who are poor, uh, who act like, they have all this money, but they really don't. See, so I think wisdom tells me anyway that if you have a lot of money, don't broadcast it. Don't people want to hang around you? That's just the way life is. You know. Anybody else have any thoughts to add to that?
There was one guy tonight on the news,
Yeah.
or much earlier. This fella, he got scammed by somebody overseas for, I think he got it. He went through $4 million. The guy was pretty well to do, but now he's bankrupt. So this girl on the wherever she was from, um, it was just fraud. I mean, it wasn't a real person. She was talking up a storm. Can't wait to see you. I need whatever it was, amount of money. And then she goes, well, I'm going to have to take airfare. So could you come up with whatever it was and this and that? And he wound up losing about $4 million. He got to the airport, though, before all that, and no show. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
It happens. So you got to be really aware. And they say they're really starting to get on these older people that really
Yep.
don't have much sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Or they're not
they lose.
skillful enough, alert,
Right.
you know.
Yep.
This
Yes.
man
Yeah.
who was a widow, his wife passed away. She met a beautiful young woman in another country, the Philippines in this case, and they had a long distance relationship. And she was wanting to get married, and he was so in love with this other woman. I mean, this woman, and he was sending her money to build their house together. Then when he got there, it was gone.
Oh man.
Uh, the thing is, people want to be your friends, especially if you come in a foreign country and you act like you have money. Oh, they're going to be friendly towards you, but you should be aware that they're only friends with you because it's not because of you; it's because of your money.
Publishers Clearinghouse been calling me for the last 2 weeks, telling me that I won $7.5 million.
Oh, yeah, I get
Daphne,
that.
don't forget me. I'm your friend.
I'm gonna send everybody a million. Huh?
Yeah, I get that
Yeah,
too.
but
Yeah.
all I have to do is buy a green dot card for $65, and then I won a 2026 Tucson truck,
Oh, geez,
and
great.
I'll get $5,000 a week, and I'm like, okay, yeah. But how about you donate that to St. Jude's Children's Hospital? And they hung up.
I got Mondo with his hand raised. Go ahead, Mondo.
Yes, Pastor. I would like to speak on verse 33. Wisdom responds in the heart of a discerning, and
Discerning.
even among fools, she let herself be known.
Yeah, this
33.
is like stating the obvious, but it might not be obvious to everybody. When you have a heart of wisdom, uh, you have discernment, which means you're the kind of person who doesn't believe anything immediately. It says a fool believes anything. You don't just believe anything, which we're back again to how people uh, are scammers. But uh, you're able to discern. You can at least recognize the difference between right and wrong, wise and foolish. And that's because of the training, the training you have in the Word of God, the training you have with what is wise and what is foolish. People who don't have that, they don't. You have the advantage if you come across people who don't have that, because usually, at least from experience, people who don't have that, they end up in jail. You know, they don't know the difference, and that's why it's good to know the difference between right and wrong, wise and foolish. And in doing that, you're able to um, keep wisdom and discernment as part of your walk of life. See, you guys should always be concerned about wanting wisdom and discernment as your way of life. Now, maybe when you were younger, or a lot of people, they go based on their feelings, but your feelings are not always right. Your feelings can deceive you. So, um, if you have a discerning heart, you will practice wisdom. But it says, even among fools, she lets herself be known. Now, that's an interesting translation that I have. Does anybody have a different translation? Because it says, even among fools. So if you're wise and you're among fools, you let your wisdom be known. You can rise to the, like the cream of the crop, you can rise to the cream of the crop if even if you're around foolish people, you'll be different because of the wisdom that you have. You've ever been in a group situation where people wanted to do something that I don't think it's a good idea, I don't think it's right, but they all want to do it. You ever been in that situation?
Yeah.
And then you basically either jump in with them or you say, no, I'm not going to join you guys.
Right.
So if you have enough strength to say, no, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to pass, I'm not going to join in on that, there's wisdom. You rise above all that, and you show yourself to be wise, even in a setting where there's a lot of foolish people around. You go against the stream. So understand.
So in other words, they've been going. So basically, they have the spirit of the world, then, right? Because
Yeah, the foolish
it's
people.
kind of like trying to get me. Yeah,
Yeah, when you're talking about the foolish people, right?
that's correct. Yes, Pastor.
Yeah, foolish people are 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 gonna be mob. There's the mob mentality. Hey man, let's go to 7-Eleven, all 20 of us. Let's all go there and let's just snatch and grab. You know, uh, we'll get a lot of free stuff, and we'll get away with it because there's going to be so many of us. The person behind the counter is not going to be able to catch any of us. Come on, Bert, why don't you join us? See what I'm saying? Come on, Mondo, let's do this. And
Right.
the foolish Bert would have said, yeah. The foolish Bert would have said, yeah, all right, let's do it. We're not going to get caught, and we're going to get a lot of free stuff. And what does the Spirit of God tell us? Nope. Get away from these kind of people. Run away from these kinds of people. Don't even be near them, because when they get, caught up into authorities, and you're hanging around with them or you're near them, you'll be included.
Kwame.
Kwame?
You calling me?
Somebody at the door.
Oh, okay. Well, but yeah, Mondo. So, anybody else have any other verses? Isn't this
Pastor,
practical wisdom? That's why I think this is good for teenagers. They should be receiving this.
Yes.
Because then when they become adults, they'll these things they'll be reminded. Baby Catherine, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I want verse 2 if you can't have time. If you have time.
Verse 2?
Yes, Pastor Bird.
Of course. Okay. He whose walk is upright fears the Lord, but he whose ways are devious despises him. This is where your actions speak louder than words, right? Because everybody can say, I'm a Christian. But you prove you really are or have the fear of the Lord, right? Based on how you act, the ways, your walk is upright. When you constantly think about the fear of the Lord, which is the Lord is always looking, you could say always looking over your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
If you live a life when you're practicing that God is always watching me, what happens is every time you have an opportunity to do something wrong, you just won't because God is watching
All the time.
Yeah. And, we're talking about, to me, the temptation I come across is like stealing, wouldn't it be so easy to just help myself and steal that person's wallet, or to steal the cash that's in his wallet? So easy. What's easy to steal or do wrong? and you really have a good chance of getting away with it,
Cut
right?
the straps off of somebody's purse.
What's that?
I said, cut the straps off of somebody's purse.
Okay. I saw this guy, he went to church while a woman was praying. She left her purse right on the bench, and she's there praying and kneeling facing the front, and he's standing right behind her, the other pew. And while she's praying, he just reaches out and takes her purse and walks away. He got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But churches now have cameras. That's why it was picked up in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
I was
That
robbed before,
that
Pastor Bert.
a church.
No, in a mall. I was trying to look at I was in the Philippines for vacation, and I was looking at the shoes that are inside the glass, and these two women kept on pushing me, wherein it's not even crowded.
Oh,
And
pickpocket.
when I chose the shoes, I fitted in and went to the cashier. My what do you call that? That belt bag was open. Got
Wow.
my driver's license, credit cards, $600,
Yeah,
some
pickpockets.
pesos. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, but that's people who don't fear the Lord, right?
yeah,
Um,
Right.
that person who stole the purse from the innocent woman praying to God, and he turns around and steals that from her. Uh, he didn't fear the Lord. He doesn't believe that God is watching him. And yet, if you lived in such a way that God is watching you, even if her purse had hundreds of dollars of cash sticking out of her wallet, um, boy, it sure looks tempting. But because you have the fear of the Lord, you just don't do it. In fact, I think along the lines that I hope nobody else sees what she has, right? I hope nobody will be tempted to steal what she has. So I might just encourage her. That thing, your wallet is flashing all that cash. You might want to cover it. That's just me. But I would never do that if I fear the Lord, right?
Right.
Come on, Bert. She has thousands of dollars of cash in there. She won't miss it. You know how those thoughts go. But if you fear the Lord, you would avoid doing that. That's why, all the commandments, you would avoid doing those things out of your fear of the Lord,
Yep.
which says, out of my love, out of my respect for God, I'm not going to hurt that person, even if I can get away with it. That's why I will never sleep with your wife. You know what I'm saying? Um, if if your wife was involved with me, let's say at work, which is common, right? Spend a lot of time together. No matter how much I'm attracted or am tempted, oh, I fear the Lord. I would never do this. You know, the attitude is like, I'd rather die than to do this, act, whether it's stealing, adultery, well, obviously murder. Oh, God. Murder is shedding innocent blood, you know. So, walking in the fear of the Lord keeps you upright in the way you walk. But then it says, he whose ways is devious despises him. What's a devious person?
Evil.
Yeah, evil, deceptive,
Conniving. Mm-hmm.
right? He schemes evil things or evil ways.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're scheming things to try to get away with doing something wrong, if you're looking to do that and practice that, what you're really saying is, I hate God. Thank you, Mondo, for letting us know. But do you see you see? You can say, yeah, I'm a Christian, but if you have devious ways, if you're deceptive in your ways, what you're really saying is, I don't have any fear of the Lord. You're almost like a non-believer. So you want to be honest, right, in your ways. You don't want to be deceptive. You don't want to scam people, take advantage of people by lying to them. You want to be honest. You want to treat people the way you would want to be treated. The golden rule, right?
Right.
Treat others the way you would want to be treated. So that would always keep you within the right boundaries of the fear of the Lord. Hey, I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me. Well, I'm not going to do it to them then. Okay? Is that what we've got so far with this? Any more?
Thanks, Pastor Bert.
Yeah, this is a good session of chewing on some of the things in the Word of God. Anybody else before we wrap it up? No one? Let me see if I can find one. How about this? All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. That is so basic, right?
Pastor Bert, what verse is that?
Verse 23,
Thank
14:23. But isn't that just basic knowledge and basic wisdom? But we need to be told that. If you really want to be profitable in what you're doing, you really got to work very hard. But remember, with the things of God, it also tells us, don't go overboard. You also need a day of rest.
Right.
So, but hard work is going to lead to profit. That's just, a good value system you should have. You should believe in hard work, and you will profit from it.
Yeah, diligence leads to.
But, well, go ahead, Princess. Diligence.
What I was saying is diligence leads to gain, and mere talking leads to lack. Wala.
Yeah, it leads to poverty here. Mere talk
Broke.
leads to poverty in my translation.
Yeah. Mere
So,
talk leads to broke.
yeah, see, a lot of people can talk really good, but all that talking, if you see that, they just do a lot of talking, but they really don't work hard at all, well, they're never going to get anywhere. They're never going to make any progress. They're never going to make any advancement in their life if all they do is talk all the time. There are times you just have to learn to shut up, work hard, focus on doing your best in working hard, and you'll eventually you'll eventually get rich, or you'll eventually get profit. It's just a generalization of, this is a good life if you do it this way. And a lot of people have different ways of looking at life. Sometimes some people don't even think about, oh, I don't need to work hard. I'm not a fool. I don't want to work hard. I don't have to work hard. I can just talk my way through things. No, you also need to work hard. Just a simple way of life. All right. That's it for Proverbs 14. There's a lot, but we can only chew on 3 or 4 verses at a time in 1 hour. So on that note, brother.